Yo, what's up? So, people were asking me just too many questions about this build, how it works, why does anything like go wrong with their stuff, why does their trauma stacks drop, why do their shade form drops, why do they die in maps, why am I using this link, why am I using that link, like just too many questions I can't explain in the comments. So I'm just going to briefly explain how the build works, explain like why I'm using every single gem, every single thing on the tree, maybe explain a little bit about how I made my gear, and how you can like make it much cheaper, because this is just I mean, I guess it's just overkill for this build, because it can't really be killed, even with like a fraction of my investment, and it can do all content. It's just too strong right now. Okay, so first, how the build works, because most people don't actually even understand how the build works. So you're cursing yourself with Temp Chains, making every buff on yourself last up to 4 times as long. How that works is, well, Temp Chains increases, where is it? Other effects on cursed enemies expire 40% slower, and that's only 50%, like that's a 50% less effect against players, as you can see, so that's 20% slower expiration of buffs. And you can calculate that by going to POB, checking your curse effect mod, and then you subtract 20% from that, because that's your ring, Roadblock Promise. It decreases effect of curses on you by 20%. So you take this value, 2.69, you subtract 0.2, then you multiply it by 1.5, because you have Supreme Ego. That makes it into 3.735 effectiveness. Then I believe, what was that? Oh yeah, you multiply that by the 2.2, increased like duration of buffs on you, and then this value is how much slower buffs expire on you, and how you can get like how much longer your buffs take, or rather how long they are. You subtract 1, like this number, this value from 1, and you get, what is it, 1 minus 0.747, and then you get this value, and then you divide 1 by this number, and you get the exact duration. Where was it? So my buffs are it's almost capped, because you were capped at 0.25. It's for multiplier of your buffs. So every buff on me I have. So let's say I put this around me. It says 27 seconds here, but that's multiplied by 4, so it's well, 100 something seconds. So that's the first. So that's the idea of the build. So whenever I do Boneshatter, I get trauma stacks. Those stacks also expire 4 times slower. So that's your multiplier. And then the other part is you get a bunch of skill effect duration on the tree, as much as you can. I think you can, like, you get essentially everything you can. You even enchant Anoint your Amulet with this, which is a completely useless node, but it gives you skill effect duration. It's minions, but it's best in slot for this build. Okay, so how do you get like the curse effect? You need voices. I have 3 node voices, but you can do just fine. Like, you can do completely fine with 5 passive voices, which are like doing C or something. They're a bit more expensive at this point, because everyone is making this build. So they're like 50C or something. And then people are asking me like, how do you get these 5x notable the cluster jewels? These cluster jewels are 10 to 20, I don't know, 30C, and then you put 300 and all, 300, Jesus Christ, what are they called? these alterations on them, and you get the Edge's Apathy alongside whatever you feel like, however many alts you want to spend. I was aiming for intelligence, dexterity, chaos res. So I get chaos res on this one, intelligence, all attributes, just the good stuff. So that you get capped, or you get the you get enough attributes. Dexterity. This, don't mind this. You don't need this. It's there's like one jewel like this in the league. I sniped this for 37 exalts, but you don't need it. You can get 45 here for 4 points, and you don't even need 45. I was just getting 45 because I like to min-max. So this is the Idris Apathy and Overlord, which gives me 45 with Mace's Scepter Source saves. You need all 2 passive. You can probably be fine with 6 2 passive clusters, but the more 3 passive you have, the better, because you're not capped. As I said, you're not capped. You're only capped at maybe, what was it, 2.7% curse effect. So if I got 1% curse effect somewhere, I would be capped, and there would be no point in getting any more curse effect. You also get curse effect on your shield. What is it? Supreme Ego also multiplies your curse effect, because your Temp Chains counts as an aura, because it's cast with Blasphemy. So that's so that's how you prolong the buffs on you, and obviously that's how you get damage with Boneshatter, because your Boneshatter stacks last for, well, the base duration is 6 seconds. You prolong that to it was around, what? Let me check here. Duration, yeah, here it is, times 408. So that is like 4 times 6, 24, more than that seconds, and then you multiply that by the 4 from Temporal Chains. So you get like a good 1 minute and a half of a Boneshatter until they start to expire. So you have like 1.5 minutes to like build up your Boneshatters. And well, how you actually get damage, that's also pretty important, is Mantra Flames, which I guess is intended because it was this way the last league when Mathil played this build, and it gives you 5 to 12 fire damage when it's rolled perfectly per buff on you, and every single trauma, let's say you have 1000 trauma stacks, every single one of those counts separately, because you gain them separately, so I guess it counts as a separate buff. So it gives you tremendous amounts of fire damage to attacks. Let me just, like, I have here at it, if I have 750 trauma stacks, I have 750 to 9000 fire damage. So that's flat, and then Divergent Boneshatter gives you attack speed per trauma, which is the second part of your damage. You enhance that with a gem to 44%, and that's 2% attack speed per trauma. And with 750 stacks, I'm attack speed capped, so that's pretty insane. And then, like, the last part of why this build works is you get Shade Form. You can get this from Eternity Shroud, Replica Eternity Shroud, or Shroud of the Lightless. Eternity Shroud is super expensive right now because it's the best in slot for the build, but Shroud of the Lightless will work just fine, as it also gives you the same level Shade Form, and you can proc it just fine. You will just have some issues, maybe if you die somehow, and then you want to come back, and, well, actually, it's not an issue then. If you somehow lose your stacks, your Shade Form, you weren't using your skill and you somehow lose it, and there are enemies around, you can't proc it because it has a % chance to proc when using a Socrates skill. You're gonna have Boneshatter there, so you won't be able to actually refresh it, because you hit something and you kill yourself with 700 stacks, which damages you for let's see, 265 per trauma. That's just insane amounts of fizz, and you can't mitigate that in any way other way than Shade Form. But Replica Shroud of the Lightless is completely fine for this build, and you can do with it in any content. You just need to keep an eye out on your Shade Form. Okay, so that's the idea. You make yourself, well, that's the skill, and Shade Form makes you immune to physical damage. It has a very short duration, base duration, I believe it's 3 seconds or something, but you prolong that to, let me see, here, 12.24 seconds, which is multiplied by the almost 4 from Temp Chains. So that gives me around like 10 seconds, more than 10 seconds overlap. So that's super comfy to play with. You never need to keep an eye out on it. Maybe if you end Simu Wave at exactly the duration that it will expire, you will need to either, you can just attack if you have a Shroud of Lightless, or you can do Forbidden Rite, damages you and procs your Shade Form. That's also why I have it. People were asking me why I have a Forbidden Rite. That's why I have it. Okay, so that's the basic idea of the build. I guess I can talk about my gems. Boneshatter, Divergent for attack speed, obviously. Enhance to get 2% attack speed per trauma. I guess I can talk about it here. So Animal's Efficacy, that's Animals for skill effect duration on the quality. The base gem also gives you skill effect duration, so that's 35 duration for gem. Increased duration, obviously. So also the important part is, this is important to have in your chest, because it affects the Shade Form. And we have Ruthless, just for damage and stuns, which gives us AoE, because Boneshatter has increased AoE per stun duration. So having Ruthless there is quite nice for clear as well as the damage. And then we have either Ancestral Call for convenient clear, or we can just swap it out for LE damage, which gives me immune to reflected damage, or rather can be reflected, which I can do at zero with, or just if I do single target. Okay, then we have just some buffs. Ancestral Warchief, Ancestral Protector, multiple totems, Forbidden Rite for proccing my Shade Form, Phantasmal Leap Slam for attack speed. Your attack speed is quite slow because, well, you're cursed with Temp Chains, so you're not gonna have too much action speed. But with Phantasmal Leap Slam and attack speed, it's gonna be pretty okay. And then we have Blood Rage, also just attack speed, and Frenzies. Okay, then we have Cast No Damage Taken and Immortal Call, which is just, well, it makes you essentially immortal. When it's procced, you have your Flasks, you have your Pantheon, you're taking 70% less damage with 90% max reses, and also like some decreased damage taken. It's pretty dumb. You're not gonna be dying until, I don't know, super deep delve with this build. And even then you can adjust it to make it even more tanky. Okay, so that's the Cast No Damage Taken. We have Temp Chains and the Road Blood, which curses you. It's an essential part of the build. And then we have Martial Legion. Some people are saying, you need Mage Blood for this build, or they hate the build without Mage Blood. Well, I don't know what kind of issue is it to do this every 2 minutes. You can attack in between, but you just press your 4 auras, and they last for, well, a very long time. It also allows you to use Supreme Ego, because that's only, like, it only says you can only have 1 permanent aura on you from your skills, which is the Temp Chains from the Road Blood. And these auras are affected by Supreme Ego, but you can use them because they're not permanent. So this is very nice synergy. And last, oh yeah, this is quite nice as well. We have Vengeance, which procs, which has a chance to proc when hit, and you're hitting yourself with trauma every single time you attack. So if when you're capped 30 times per second, you're proccing Vengeance on a 1.2 second cooldown, which is giving you a rage from rage support, and well, I also have Phantasmal Vengeance, which is 40% chance to gain one rage and hit, and Awaken Malefice for Intimidate. This is unnecessary and not needed. This build, the last thing this build needs is more damage. And then we have Berserk because we have also a rage, so we can pop that for bosses. I believe that's all gems. What's next? I guess Flasks. You use all elemental flasks so that you have less damage taken from each element, 20%. It also gives you resist. Then we have Amethyst Flask, which I shouldn't need. Well, actually I do. I removed my craft. You can use. I was using Amethyst Flask to cap my Chaos Res, because that is literally the only way you die in, I guess, Simulacrums, because they can do Chaos Waves. And if you're not Chaos capped, you can actually die on this build. So you need to Chaos Res cap. Oh yeah, also duration and Temp Chains apply to Flasks, so you can see how long my Flasks last. That is also very nice. You will have Flasks up all the time. And I'm using Cinder Swallow for attack speed. And also increase damage taken by enemies who are ignited during Flask effect. So that's also a nice multiplier as well. I'm igniting with my Scepter, which has Change to Ignite on it, crafted. Before you have this, you can just use, what is it called, Combustion on your Vengeance instead of, well, you can just swap around gems. You can swap out War Chief. You don't need that. I just popped it in because I just didn't have any other skill I could use. Right, now for the gear. Many people also complain you need this, which is very expensive now because of people making it. You don't really need it, because the only thing it does is gives you 24% faster gain of trauma, essentially. And while it makes the build more comfy to play, it is not essential. But even then, you can just get it like any other helmet with Boneshatter with this enchant, and you can, I don't know, do Life Essence on it and just use it until you can afford this. What this actually does is just gives you more life, gives you more energy shield, and some, like, a bunch of damage actually, because you have a lot of increases from tree. Okay, well then next essential part is you need Curse Effect on your shield to cap out your Curse Effect and cap out your buff duration. You get this from Syndicate, Unveil, and how you can craft this kind of shield. This is a bit more expensive, but what you can just simply do is you can get a Shaper Shield. You can do Life Essences, what are they? Greed. Yeah, Greed. You can do Greed Essences. I don't know. That's a couple. I don't know, maybe 100 greeds. I don't know what exactly the rolls are, but you'll get 2 max resist, which you need for capping your resist. I have you can get 90 resist with this. If you don't have the shield, it's only 88. So you can get that, and then you just roll it with the essence, and then you do prefixes cannot be changed. You do Veiled Orb. And you block, I believe, attributes, and you can get the Curse Effect. It's very easy to get, and you don't need to buy the implicit one, which go for, well, tremendous amounts of money, and it's not worth at all. Okay, well, March of the Legion, you can get the and charge corrupt, but that's also not necessary. That's just extra damage and AoE and other stuff because of your Ascendancy gives you AoE damage. But it's simply, it's just, this build doesn't really need much to work. If you're asking what level, many people also ask me what level do I need to be to play this build. Well, what do you need? The essential parts are, you need the clusters, you need the voices with the 6 Doge's apathy, notable. Then you need these 3 skill duration nodes. You need this one and Onanoid. You need Supreme Ego. And then I believe, well, that you don't need this. This is just max resist. You will not die even without them. I believe you do need these because this is aura effects and that affects your Temp Chains. So you need this cluster. And then you need, I believe, what was it? Oh yeah, you need Mantra of Flames. This is pretty important. Where do I have that? Oh, here, yeah. In Mantra of Flames, you can socket it here, wherever. And it's also quite nice to have increased cooldown recovery rate. Oh yeah, also on the belt. I didn't finish talking about the items. So here, so here's the belt, which is this is also not hard to make, but what you really only need is cooldown recovery rate. D1 from Crusader. But this belt is actually pretty easy to make. You will just need to awaken an orb melee damage D1 and cooldown recovery rate. Hope for a free suffix. If you get that, you will just craft suffixes cannot be changed. Or if you don't get a free prefix, you will just craft a random mod. You will suffixes cannot be changed until you get a free prefix. You craft suffixes that can be changed and reforge, including speed, which is guaranteed to land you attack speed during any flask effect. So this gives you a lot of attack speed, a lot of damage, cooldown recovery, and then you can either do suffixes can be changed, veiled orb, unveil life, but I was just doing suffixes can be changed including life, reforge including life. I rolled a T1 wed, which is super insane, alongside an okay-ish roll of life, so I kept it. It also needs to be Stygian because you can socket the cooldown recovery rate jewels in it. I also happened to get a quite nice one for cheap early because, well, people weren't playing the build. I was making it early when Rue made it. Okay, so that's the belt. Gloves is just... you actually can unsocket these gloves and the build will work. This is just quality of life and, well, it's just life and damage. And clear. I was running no extra strike targets, but if you're just gonna do Awaken Ancestral Call, which should be cheap. I don't know if it's very cheap. Wait, what the heck? Okay, it's not very cheap. I'm checking it right now. I don't know if it's just because it's corrupted or whatever. It should be cheap if it's level 1, but whatever. You don't need this, but if you wanted, you can do 1 target and some life, or you can do 2 targets. How you can craft it is Awakener Orb, 2 prefixes. One of them must be the Strike skill one from Hunter, another random one. Hope for a free prefix. If you get it, you will just Maven, hope for strike skills. I got it. So then you just do prefixes can be changed, scour it, which will make it magic with just the elevated prefix Hunter mod. And then you do prefixes can be changed again, you imprint it, and then you life reroll it with a harvest. And again, I was incredibly lucky to land this. I got 2 T1 lives. And then you do prefixes can be changed, Veiled Orb, block some attributes, I believe, unveil attacks, attack and cast speed while focused, which is very important for this build. You need a ton of attack speeds to start hitting stuff, to start getting trauma. And then you craft attack speed. This was simple to make. Then we have some... we have a basic ring, well, basic, easy to craft. I believe I was using some essences to get the attack speed alongside the Redeemer attack speed. And once I got that, I got a free suffix as well. So I did suffixes can be changed, Reforged Chaos. Again, landed a T1 Chaos Res. You could call me a bit lucky with some of these crafts. And then you can do, again, suffixes can be changed. Veiled Orb, block mana, get life, and craft non-channeling. I'm using non-channeling because alongside Conqueror's efficiency, it makes everything cost 0 mana. Especially Boneshatter, since you're attacking 30 times per second, I wouldn't like not being able to ramp with, I don't know, like in Delve, where you actually don't leech. I'm not sure if you don't leech, because you're not dealing any damage, so you shouldn't be leeching. So having 0 mana is just convenient, so I'm using that. So that's, I already explained that. This is just a random amulet I bought with life. It happened to have T1 fire damage. It had Chaos Res and it had Intelligence T2, T3. It was like 1x or something. You just anoint it. I did attribute quality, and then I happened to find out it's pretty okay for my build. I didn't need to replace it, so I slammed it with Warlord because there were okay mods for it. I got AoE, which is okay, and then I first had Chaos Res on it, but then I got some other Chaos Res on my gear, so I didn't need it. Got attack speed again. And that's it, I believe. I was using Dreadbeak, yeah, also my weapon. I was using Dreadbeak with just attack speed, corrupt. It's well, you can just use a regular one. It really is only just for the attack speed. Once you want to get this is quite nice because it is a little bit less attack speed than Dreadbeak, but it's essentially 40% more damage with Elemental Overlord, and it gives you a free point because you can craft hits can be evaded and you don't need Resolute Technique. So that's just a lot of damage. And you can get Ignite, so you can drop Combustion. And you make it with an Essence of Zeal, Deafening. You just annul until you have 3 free mods, 2 prefixes, 1 suffix. You do up to 3 crafted, fire damage, ignite, and can be evaded. You also do the enchant for attack speed, and yeah, I guess that's it. I also crafted this tower shield. Like this was also insanely lucky when I was making it. I was awakening, orbing, life, and what was it? Max res. Hoping for a free prefix, then doing prefix cannot be changed, Reforged Chaos, and it was a 1 to 2, I believe, to get max Chaos Res, which I was hoping to get, because I would have more Chaos Res, because that's the only way I die. But then instead of having a free prefix, I got T1 max life, T1 life. So that was pretty insane. I just did prefix can be changed, Veiled Orb, got curses, and then I just YOLO slammed it, got T2 Chaos Res. So this was pretty retarded. And then crafted chance to deal double damage while focused, because I have focus from gloves already. We have a lot of cooldown reduction, so I have 50% uptime on this. Well, actually no, 50%. It's quite good uptime on focus. And 15% more damage is pretty okay. I believe that's all. I missed some things about the build from some mechanics of the build, of why the build is also super tanky. The very important part about why this build works is well, it's not why the build works, but you can do Unstoppable on Jug, which makes action speed cannot be reduced below base value, which if you cursed yourself with any other Ascendancy, you would essentially not be moving with Temp Chains. You would just fucking, I don't know. I am actually gonna try what it looks like if you unspec that node, because it should be pretty funny. I want to know what it looks like. Yeah, so this is exactly what you would look like if you were in a jug. What you can do if you really didn't want to go jug is you could do Scourge on Woods, which is 70%, actually, well, 7% value of the Juggernaut. So your action speed cannot be reduced below, I don't know, 80%, 70% of base value. So that would work, but the most important part of jug, I believe, is which is it? This node, you know? Yes, this one. So it makes everything is like whatever, reduced damage taken, yeah, of course, but 1.5% of physical damage prevented from hits in the past 10 seconds is regenerated as life per second. So you're preventing all damage with Shade Form from your trauma stacks. And that is, I don't know, 700 trauma stacks. How much damage is each trauma? 265, so 265 times 700, that's 185,000 physical damage, and 1.5% of that is wait, hold up, Jesus Christ, fucking retarded, times 0.0515 this way, so 2,775 life regen per second. But that's in the past 10 seconds, so that's just one hit. Actually, this was this is so scuffed. My math is very bad. This is just one hit from trauma, and in the 10 seconds you're gonna hit yourself with that. Well, 30 times per second, so 10 times, so that's 300 times per second. So 300 times this. I believe it should be right. Around 800,000 regen of life, I guess. So you will, if something hits you for 99% of your life somehow in deep delve, you will instantly shoot back up. You won't even notice it. You won't even know you were like super close to dying, because you will instantly regen it. And this is also makes your energy shield regen. That's why you're using energy shield as well, because it's super nice synergy. So this is the same node, except it's for ES. Okay. I believe that's about it, I guess. Should sum it up. Check my gems. I believe I explained everything. So why can your trauma stacks be dropping? Why are you dying to trauma? Why are you dying? Why is your shade form not right? You need to check your POB and make sure you have your go to shade form in calcs, and check your skill cooldown and check your skill duration. And then you also need to know your Temp Chains curse effect, which I explained at the beginning. You just need to calculate the buff duration increase, and then you multiply your shade form by that, and you will know if these don't overlap. If these don't overlap, you will not be able to keep up your shade form. So, yeah, I believe that's everything I wanted to say. Yeah, that's about it.